It's cool.
So, as far as Cyberpunk goes, like, I know you're a big fan of that game. There's a lot of
Yeah.
controversy right now surrounding that game.
Mm-hmm.
Story aside, what's your take? I mean, if
That's
you,
an interesting question.
yeah,
I'm
because
trying to properly word it.
I want to get your feelings on this because I understand your love for the game from a story perspective. I do think that there's a good game in there somewhere, but
Yeah.
there's a lot of issues for a lot of people,
Mm.
and
Mm.
we have to acknowledge the problems.
Well, you see, you can't deny the issues with that. And I
Right.
think we could take the very good example of Fallout 76 as a measuring stick
Mm-hmm.
because that game came out, everybody shat all over it. And at its core, it really was terrible. But if you look at what Bethesda has done, not counting the way they handled their launch and the way they handled all of those in-game what's the word I'm looking for? Like microtransactions, like that game
Mm-hmm.
was designed to make money. So if you want a very good example of something that's terrible, look at Fallout 76.
Mm-hmm.
Bad gameplay. The gameplay system itself is based off of Fallout 3, I think, which came out back in 2008, right? But then in the reverse, and this is another great measuring stick, is if you look at Destiny, right? And we all know, Eric knows, Vic knows in the chat that above all else, at its core, the gameplay was very good. And Destiny was plagued with a lot of issues when it launched, right? So if you look back at the E3 briefing they did, remember the Cosmodrome where the game opens up, the ghost wakes you up and you run towards the wall?
Mm-hmm.
Bungie had a press conference saying, you see all those hills out there and all those plains? You could go all the way out there.
Right.
It's going to be amazing. And there's this guy called Crow you meet in the Cosmodrome, and that was all scrapped.
Right.
But people grew to love Destiny because regardless of its lack of content when it launched, its bone dry array of guns and armor, you were literally doing the same thing over and over again. It was amazing at its core. So issues aside, yes, there were glaring issues, including network connectivity and all that stuff. Cyberpunk falls in the same category because on one hand, you could see just how passionate the developers were about their craft, but then you could see how it was terribly mismanaged. So if you talk about Cyberpunk, you're still talking about like Destiny, Fortnite, The Division, where yes, these games have issues, but if the game is good in its essence, I think in time we're not going to talk about that anymore because all of the talk and nonsense that Cyberpunk has been getting isn't about the amazing art direction. It isn't about how it feels like a live, breathing city. It's about T-poses and this bug or that bug. And I'm not denying that those bugs aren't there, but people are focusing way too much on a negativity.
Well,
and I'm not talking about the Xbox launch or the PlayStation launch. I'm talking about like the game itself.
I don't think they're just focusing on the T poses and the bugs too, but I think they're talking about how they were promised a city that was living and breathing, and it really isn't. Like the police system, the wanted system. The wanted system in that game is a joke.
Yeah, you don't want to mess up because you're dead in a shot. Like they'll kill you in an instant.
Not even just
appear.
that. They teleport from absolutely nowhere. You run around a block away and you're out in the clear. So there really is no there's no challenge to it. It's either you're overwhelmed by them and you're dead, or you go 2 blocks down the street and you're fine. And that's just one example. I watched a 40-minute video. Jimmy, son of a Fitch, shared it in our Discord room yesterday. And there's absolutely no commentary from the creator. It's all in-game footage from the final release and E3 footage and, press conference footage, quotes from management, quotes from developers on camera, quotes from early reviewers. And I think it's really shocking, just kind of like, where do you even start? Like, with what went wrong? Like, there's just so many things that were promised that were dropped. And I think we all understand that dropping features from a game is part of the cycle of making a game. Destiny is a great example of that. There were things that they wanted to do that just didn't make the cut. But everything that Cyberpunk wanted to do didn't make the